Hi, hello. Hi, Kayla.
Hello, I can't see. Oh, there you are.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of our Awaken the Giant Within. I am Angie.
And I'm Kayla. Good to see everyone.
Okay, so welcome back once again. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are. I hope you are having fun. For me, I am. So, Kayla, how are you? Because I know you are in London. So how are you today? Is it
Yeah,
warm?
yeah, good. It's been really, really hot in the UK recently, so the cool weather today is so nice. I don't know if anyone else is in the UK, but yeah, it's been pretty unbearable this last week. So yeah, I'm really good today. Thanks.
Okay, it's also warm over here. I'm in the Netherlands.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah. Okay, guys, welcome back. Please, if you can hear us, put in the chat box one. And if you cannot hear us, just put the number 2 so that we can adjust the system. We want everyone to hear us because we have an exciting and interesting topic to discuss today.
Yes.
And do not forget to tag everyone you know, tag your friends, tag your family members, even tag your enemy, because the family that learns together succeeds and grow together. So do not learn alone. Make sure you tag as much as you can so that everyone of your family member or your friends can learn together with you. Because when you share the knowledge, it's easier to change the person than trying to change the person alone. Kala, what do you have to say about this?
Yeah,
Learning
yeah.
together.
Yeah, it's so powerful. It's, proximity is power. So if you've got more people in your circle that are on the same wavelength, that you're working towards similar goals, and ultimately you're going to get there together quicker. So it's so important. So I'm checking in on all the comments. I can see everyone.
Yeah.
Fatima, Hong, one day. Hey guys.
Hi. We're gonna rock and roll it today.
Yeah.
So let's just go to the topic. Our topic today is the power of metaphors. The power of metaphors, and all of us know that metaphors are figure of speech. We can say that is a figure of speech. We can say it's just like a representative or a symbolic of something that is literally not what it is. So it's kind of like a representative of something, be it real or an object. So today we are going to talk about metaphors of life, how our metaphors affect our life. So it can affect or infect us depending on how we use the metaphors in our life, be it in our business, in our relationship, in raising our kids, in relating with other human beings, even in relating with animals. So our metaphors can empower us, and at the same time, it can destroy us. So on the book, we are discussing today chapter 10. That is the chapter we are on today. And the name of the book, like you know, is Awaken the Giant Within. So if you have the book, maybe you can just go to chapter 10 so that you can just follow whatever that we are going to talk about today. So before we move forward, if you have any suggestion, if you have anything to share, please feel free to put it in the box. Feel free to put it in the box so that we can learn from you. And also in the chat box, you will see a link there. It's going to be a link for a preview with Richard Tan on the 18th and on the 22nd of August. Do not miss this opportunity, because when you join this preview, you can know more about the Unleash the Power Within, which is going to happen in October. So Tony is gladly and willingly bringing Unleash the Power Within to your room. So you don't need to pay for accommodations or flights. All you need to is just go join the preview so that you can get the details about the preview. So, Kayla, do you have anything to say before we jump into our today's exciting topic?
Yeah, I'm just excited to share as much of Tony's wisdom and knowledge with everyone. I probably, this is the first time me and you have actually done this NG together, so I'm really excited to learn a bit more about you and your personal experiences with Tony. For me personally, I've attended 5 Unleash the Power Within's, and
Wow.
every time they're just so impactful in my life, and I'm always up leveling and learning something new about myself. So I'm really excited to actually dive a bit deeper into each of the chapters, and really break it down, because it is quite intense. You know, if you've been to a Tony Robbins event, they're very
Yeah.
intensive. So it's actually good to digest it in bite-sized pieces and find out, well, what exactly is Tony doing to create these new habits for us and these breakthroughs. And I really enjoyed reading The Power of Metaphors, because I never really realized how powerful they are, because it's our own narrative, isn't it, that we have in our minds of our story that we tell ourselves, and it's all down to these stories and the narratives, and it all comes down to metaphors. So I'm just really, really excited for this chat today.
Actually, when I was reading this chapter, coincidentally, I was going through, life happens, and at times, you wake up from the wrong side of the bed, another metaphor. So all those things were said without knowing, maybe because it has become part of us. So, but when I was going through this chapter, I said to myself, normally I use myself as an example because an experience is best the one that happens to you. At least you can relate more to your own experience than your experience. I can relate more to mine than yours. So when I was reading this chapter, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh Lord, I've been using this empowering metaphors in my life unconsciously without knowing. And you know that at times you make it as a habit of saying certain things. You say it without knowing, but in the real sense of it, it happens. Not that you wanted it to happen, but because you've grown thick to this, you've grown so much to all this. Well, like I said, I woke up from the wrong side of the bed. If I say I woke up from the wrong side of the bed, what do I really mean? It means that, okay, maybe today I've already made up my mind, or I already have it in my subconscious that today is not a good day for me. So whatever I'm going to do on that day, or whatever that I'm doing that day, is really not going to be palatable. It's really not going to be so sweet for me. And if you ask me, okay, Angie, what is wrong with you? I'll just say, okay, I woke up from the wrong side of the bed. Who told me that I woke up from the wrong side of the bed? Who told me that? Why would I use that word? I woke up from the wrong side of the bed. I've already concluded that I woke up from the wrong side of the bed in my mind means that today is not a good day. And since I've already said it out, since I've already spoken that word, that is how it's going to be on that day. But this chapter is going to help us to know, or to even be aware of some of our subconscious words, what we say, how we react to it, and how it affects us. And whatever we say mentally, we have that mental, maybe we like say mental picture or mental realization of what we are saying, not knowing that it has a direct effect on our life. But also from this chapter, I still understood that we can as well, we have the power to use empowering metaphors, even when we think that, okay, we are in a tight situations that, okay, everything is not going as it is supposed to be. Everything is really not smooth the way we want it, but we still have the power to turn things around. We don't need to stick on that moment of, I am not good now. This moment is really, really not so good for me. I am at a crossroad. I am this. I am that. This chapter let us know that we can as well say something nice, say it out. And once we say it out mentally, it changes our mood. And at times when you say that, okay, today is not good, mentally you are not ready for that day, or mentally you've known that today is not good. So even if there is something coming your way that day, you just brush it out, because already you've made up your mind. You've set up yourself for failure because of the metaphor you used or you are using to start your day. So Kayla, what you have to say on this chapter, please?
Yeah, I do it. I had the same thought as you when I was reading the chapter. I was like, oh my gosh, I do that all the time. And one for me, a common one that I realize that I use is that I feel stuck. Sometimes you feel like you're just not moving where you want to be heading fast enough, so you feel a bit stuck in life. I'm sure a lot of people feel the same.
Yeah.
And what something that I really picked out from the book that was like, whoa, yes, is when Tony, like when he recognizes that people use that language, he'll say to them, go and sit in nature, go watch the ocean, go to a cliff top. Because when you actually physically remove yourself from that stuck place and you actually are in that visual expansion, then it will change your physiology. So that was a real big takeaway for me in the book. So I think that's something that everyone can do right away. Just take away is just physically remove yourself. Like if you're feeling confused, then go to a place where you don't feel confusion. If you feel tired, like go to a place where you can create energy, like a gym, for instance.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what my takeaway was, and something that I feel that Tony is fantastic at. He's the world's best storyteller. Like every event that I go to, you're just so captivated in Tony's stories, and the reason that they're so captivating is because he uses analogies constantly. He's just always using past stories so that people can relate to it. They start to say, oh, hang on, I've gone through that before. And at the end of his story, there's a massive meaning behind it. And that sticks with you because everything, that happens around us is only because of the meaning that we've attached to it. So he can allow people to have these breakthroughs by using metaphors. That's all he's doing. So, the power of metaphors is massive.
Good. Yeah. So, he talked about a global metaphors, global metaphor, and on this page, he talked about his CEO. There was a story he told about. Tony told a story about his CEO. The CEO was talking to him and just said that he felt as if he's been put in a box with a gun to his head.
Mm-hmm.
So when he said that to Tony, so Tony made a joke about the gun and said, okay, where is the squirt gun? So it was funny to the man when he used that word, because using that word alone made the man realize that the metaphor he used to describe the kind of situation he was at that moment wasn't really necessary. So Tony still went ahead to tell him that, okay, that there is no box that can contain him, and you know how big Tony is. And when he used that, when Tony told him this as well, that also made the man realize that, okay, all this while I've been exaggerating. I've been blowing things out of proportion. I've been making things look so big, even when they are not so big, because whatever you think, that is exactly how you will feel. So like I said in the first place, if I wake up thinking that today is going to be a bad day, or okay, because I had the whole world on top of me yesterday, I had it rough yesterday, okay, today again, I'm still not going to have a good day. Mentally, I'm prepared that today is going to be a bad day, because that is my feeling. And whatever thing that I think, if I think now, okay, I love Kayla, Honestly, once I see Kayla, even if I've not talked with her before, I will be my smile. You will see me smiling to you automatically, you know. But if I have it in my head, okay, I don't like this Kayla, I don't like her for anything. Maybe I've not had any contact with Kayla before, but in my head, I'm only seeing the wrong side of Kayla, even not having done, even not even having any transaction with Kayla. Once I see Kayla, even if it's the first time of seeing Kayla, Kayla will feel that tension or will feel that energy, that I have this bad energy or that things are not really okay with me and her, because that is exactly what I am feeling at that moment. Whatever thing we think, that is exactly what we are gonna feel. So the question to you now is, how do you use life metaphors, global metaphors? Ask yourself, are these metaphors empowering you or this empowering you? So Tony went ahead to tell us that, okay, metaverse, we can as well use them to empower ourselves, even when we feel that the intensities are so high. So he gave a story about one couple. This couple, they had a child who was really, really, really addicted to alcohol and drugs. They've tried what they could to help the son, but they couldn't do anything for this child. But what they did or what helped them was the metaphor that someone that has been a drug and alcohol addict told them, the way that that this person explained to them made them realize that, okay, if I don't do something for my child, I'm going to lose this child. So this guy used this metaphor that right now the son have two bullets pointing to his head. One is, the first bullet is alcohol, and the second bullet is drug. But it's up to them to save their child if they don't want the child to, if they don't want these bullets to hit their child. But immediately this person used this metaphor for them, they saw a mental picture of what is actually going to happen to their son if they do nothing for him to save him. So, in essence, Tony tried to tell us that we can actually use metaphors to empower ourselves. Without this couple wouldn't have known the gravity of what the son is in, of the situation that the son is in. So, how are you using your metaphors? Are you using it to empowering people as well? Or are you using it to empower yourself? How do you use your metaphor at workplace? How is it at your workplace, in your relationship, in raising your kids, in your business partnership? How is your metaphor serving you? Do you think that you are using the right metaphors? Do you think that you are using the strong metaphors to change your situation, to change your targets, to change your KPI, to change the current situations? Or do you just succumb and say, okay, life is so difficult? Then, if life is difficult, you cannot do anything. Put in the chat box what you think. How do you use your metaphors? Is it, do you use it to empower yourself or disempower yourself? We would like to know how your metaphors have served you. And do not lie, just be real. Because for me, just yet when I read this chapter, I realized that I've not really been using life's metaphors the way that I'm supposed to use it. And in that vein, it is not serving me at all. What did I do? I had to change the pattern. Tony said it, Tony called it pattern disrupt. I had to change my pattern, the way I use my metaphors for it to serve me. Because when it served me, that is when I have to enjoy life to the fullest. So put in the chat box, how have you been using your metaphor? Is it serving you or is not serving you? Also in the chat box, you will see the link to register on a date with Richard Tan on the 18th and on the 22nd of August. On this preview, He's going to tell you about how to get a ticket to the Unleash the Power Within coming up in October. So, Kayla, as they are typing, what will be your take on this?
Something that I do every morning, and something that you learn at Unleash the Power Within, is that you create your own habits. So these habits, when what we do at UPW is that you learn that you wake up earlier and you do your morning priming. So for that, for many years now, I do 20 minutes of yoga, visualization, and gratitude. And one of my morning mantras that I just repeat to myself when I'm meditating is that life is happening for me. I'm exactly where I need to be. And because that's now my internal narrative that I say every day, it just becomes natural to me. And I always say, I am kind, I am grateful, I am abundant, I am smart. Because these are things that I just need to keep telling myself. So that's something that I think that will be a big takeaway for anyone who comes to Unleash the Power Within. They'll change their whole morning, and it's so powerful. And just going on from what you've been saying, NG, like metaphors are rules. That's exactly what they are. It's our own narrative, and that becomes our rules, and our rules become our beliefs. And ultimately, our beliefs are our reality. So it all comes down to these metaphors that we tell ourselves. So if you say life is like what is the answer for you? Life is like, and this is what Tony talks about in the chapter, is some people, he uses Donald Trump, doesn't he, as an example. And apparently Donald Trump's narrative is life is like a competition. So everything that he does is like a battle. He has
Yeah.
to be the winner. He's got to be the one who comes out on top. So ask yourself right now, everybody in the chat box, if you could answer life is like, what is the end to you? And Tony finishes it beautifully with, what if life is like a dance? It's like a flow state. You get the rhythm, the beauty, the passion, all in life. That's a great one for me.
Yeah. Actually, when I got to that point when he said life is like a dance, I paused. You know, I paused. I said to myself, well, I've not thought of life like a dance, you know. Um, I've seen life as a lesson, you know, and I've seen it as that you have to, I see it as a place of learning. And because I have that in my mind, something is not really how it's supposed to be. But when I realized that Tony sees life as a dance or like a stage, and he sees his business or his workers as a family, you know, I try to tap into his mental visualization at that moment to say, okay, maybe that is why things are the way they are with Tony. You know, maybe that is why this person is like this. Maybe that is why this is this way. So, one thing is to be able to realize that, because you do it unconsciously, you don't even know when you say those things, even if you don't say it out, but already it's going on in your mental being, you know. So, it's important that you realize your metaphors, not just realizing them, but also have the power to change them, to be able to work for you. Because when you don't know what you're doing, how will you know that? How would you know how to change it? I can only know that I can change my clothes because I see that my clothes is dirty or that it stinks. If I don't notice that it stinks, I cannot change it. So Tony said in this chapter that we should be able to have the ability to change our metaphors. But how can you change it without even realizing it in the first place? You have to realize it before you change it. So we would like you to put in the chat, like Kayla said, What kind of metaphors are you using? But I want you to put in the chat now. Tell us and be honest with it. What kind of metaphor have you used this week? Today is already Friday. What kind of metaphor have you used this week? Secondly, have that metaphor served you? For me, beginning of this week, I wasn't really motivated. So already on my head, I had this metaphor that, okay, this week is gonna be hectic. It's gonna be hectic. But 2 days after I read this chapter, and the day I read this chapter, I think it was on Tuesday, and Tuesday was not really good. It wasn't a good day already from Monday. From Monday. But after reading this chapter, I had to change my metaphor, even if I don't have any reason to. But for the fact that I am alive, I am healthy, I had to change my metaphor. And here I am. Not that the problem is solved, but I had the power, I had the courage to still look over the problem and continue my life instead of getting stuck or instead of brooding over whatever it is. It does not worth it. So tell us in the chat, what kind of metaphor have you used this week and how has it served you this week? So Kayla, you have anything to add before we move further to the next one?
Yeah, I was just thinking about the stories that I've told myself this week, and I've just got off holiday from 2 weeks break for 2 week break. And as anyone who's been on holiday and they have to go back to reality and back to work, you're always like, oh, I don't want to go back. You know, it's been so nice relaxing. And in that moment, and something I'm so grateful for, because my partner, he's someone who very much encourages me to be the best version that I can be. And he was like, Kayla, you need to change that story around to I'm excited to get back to work, to make an impact, to make a difference. And just that change of the way that you perceive the world, it's now got me excited again to come back and do this. So yeah, the power of our words are just magnificent.
Good, good. So let's move on to the another part of this topic. He said life is a game. You know, life is just like a game, like you've already said. Imagine yourself playing the game you loved most. So if we say a game, it's not necessarily football or tennis or swimming. For me, I see game as anything that gives me pleasure. You know, I see game as anything that, okay, once I am stressed out and I look at that thing or I read through it or I just have a look over, I am okay. That is how I see game. You know, whatever thing that you may do to make you feel good. So imagine life as that thing that you feel mostly attached to, or that thing that makes you so happy. Tony told us in this part of the book that if we feel that life is a game, it all depends on the metaphor we use. So we really need to expand our metaphor, know the kind of metaphor that we use to expand our life. So if you're playing a game, if you're playing, okay, let's use the Candy Crush for as an example. You know, Candy Crush, you grow, you get to different stages. For you to get to that stage or different stages, there are tactics that you have to do, you know, for you to get to the next level. So he made us understand from this point that we have to expand the use of our metaphors. We have to use this, we have to expand, to embroaden, to enlarge the use of our metaphors. How can we do that? By being true to ourselves, making sure that we abide consistently on our norms and values. Like Kayla said, he has a norm. Every day she spends 20 minutes for affirmation, yoga, and all that. Not that you have to do it once, but this is something that you have to do consistently. So saying it once may not really be enough. Saying it twice may not really be enough, but you have to say it consistently. So he gave us an instance about a stone cutter, someone that is cutting a stone. You know, at a point he cuts the stone, but does it mean that he did it at one cut? No, he did not. But he was able to cut the stone because he's been trying to cut this consistently for some time. So we wouldn't just say that, okay, the stone just split on its own. No, it did not. But because of his consistent efforts, assuming he just tried it the first time and it was difficult and he left it, the stone would not split. It can't split on its own. No, unless there's a tornado. But with his consistency and constant cutting, made that stone to split. So Tony said that for you to maybe continue seeing life as a game, you have to constantly expand your metaphors to life. How do you do that? That question is up to you. Find out how to constantly expand the kind of metaphors that will empower your life. Kayla?
Yeah, I think we've all got different, you know, we're all so different and unique. And that's why Tony, you know, his Netflix documentary, I'm Not Your Guru, the reason why he
Yeah,
doesn't want to be a guru is because he's not responsible for your change. That only we are responsible. We can only change ourselves. So Tony can give you all the tools. That's all he's doing. He's sharing his knowledge with you on what's worked in the past. It's science. That's all it is. So you need to find out your values. What drives you? What are you working towards? What means a meaningful life to you? And then once you've identified that, that's when you can create your own metaphors. And then you can make it as easy or as hard as you want. And that's, I love, you know, life is a game because it is. That's all it is. We're just going to the next level in life. We've just got to get through to that, you know, get through to this stage in life, and then you go on to the next level. And um, yeah, sorry, I'm just going in flow now. I'm trying to think where I'm going with this. um, and I guess, oh yeah, one of my top values is fun, because I think, you know, life is too short for it to be boring. So I just
yeah, exactly.
and playing games, and when you add that into everyday life, make life fun, make it a game, and soon that's where just happiness lies. That's all it is.
Exactly. Exactly. So, at times, our past experiences makes us to have a certain belief or have just one pattern of metaphor, and that affects our life even without us knowing. So, Tony in this chapter told us a story about an encounter with a woman during one of his programs. I think it was the Dates with Destiny. So this particular lady was problematic right from when she came in for the event, right from the registration and all that inside the hall. And even when Tony started talking, the woman was trying to disrupt the whole event. So at a point, Tony had to do something to call order in the room. So the woman, when Tony started asking the woman questions, the woman said that when Tony asked her why, she said that if you give room for a little leak, it's gonna float or it's gonna drown the boat, something like that. meaning that if there is any room for an error, the whole thing or all your efforts is going down the drain. But after Tony's session with that woman, Tony found out that the woman's metaphor all her life has been because of previous issues that she have had in the past regarding her marriage, her divorce, and all the things that has happened to her. But the thing was that this woman never let go. She never tried changing her life's metaphor, even though she's been through all these things. But she held so much to them that she never saw any possibility of change. She never saw that, yeah, that even though I've been through this, I think I can still enjoy life. There is still more to life than to get stuck over what have been in the past. But after the session with Tony, the woman realized that, okay, I've been using the wrong metaphors, and that is why I've been stuck on this. Maybe I've been stuck in life. That is why I've seen life as roller coaster. I've seen life as a nightmare. So, do you allow yourself to get stuck to your bad experiences? You let those metaphors guide your life. You let those metaphors take hold of your life. At times we see that, Kayla, I don't know if you notice this. There are abilities in us, there are abilities in us, but because we've kind of limited our abilities, we don't even want to give it a trial. We don't even want to try and fail. We are now say, okay, I don't know how to do this. I don't know if you've been in this kind of scenario, Kela. I don't know how to do this, but have you even given it a trial before? No, you've not. But mentally, you've already you've set up yourself for failure. You've already told yourself, I can do this. No matter what happens, I can do this. Not that you've given it a trial. So it's time now for you to break that pattern. It's time for you to break that metaphor. It's time for you to use empowering metaphors. Stop saying, I cannot. I cannot, or is so difficult. I cannot. Try to change it to I can, I will, I must. And when you change this mentally, it's easier for you to even give it a trial. It's okay to fail. It's okay to try it for the first time and people may laugh at you, no problem. And that will not make you stop, but you have to keep trying and trying and trying again and again and again until you get it right. So, Kayla, do you have anything to add to this?
And you can also, the power of the visualization as well. That's really where the metaphor comes in as well. Because if you're feeling like I'm going to fail, I'm hitting a brick wall, I can't move through this, then what Tony says in this chapter is get that wall and tell yourself that you're going to drive through it, drill through it, create a tunnel underneath it, jump over it. When you start to say these words in your head and visualize it as well, all of a sudden your outlook, your perspective is changing. And that's when your actions will change. And that's when your reality will change.
Exactly, correct, correct. I will use my daughter as an example because the first time she was learning how to ride a bike, normally if you're learning how to ride a bike, definitely you're gonna maybe fall for the first time. She had the wound on her knee. So because of that, she had this phobia for bikes. So I was like, okay, but just try and you have to learn this. But she'll always tell me, but yeah, but I'm going to wound myself again. I don't want to fall. I say, yes, but you have to fall for you to be able to learn how to ride a bike. So after much persuasions and trial, she overcame that fear And immediately she overcame that fear, she was able to learn how to ride a bike. And when she did it, finally, it was easy. And she would tell me, "Oh, Mama, it was easy." I said, "Yeah, it was very, very easy. But because you already had that fall and you've allowed yourself to see that, okay, I'm going to fall, even if I try, I cannot. I don't want to wound myself. I don't want to injure myself. I don't want to uh, give myself any pain." That is why you think that you couldn't ride a bike. But you taking that step, trying to overcome. But okay, imagine her, she's just 6 years old. So at times we let our fear get so take hold of us that we even forget the mental picture of what success looks like. We even at times forget to visualize how it's going to be. What is on our head is failure, failure. Okay, it's going to be too tough. It's going to be too bad. It's not going to be welcoming. All right, I'm not going to be able to talk to this person because he's not friendly, or she's not this, she's not going to welcome. You already fill your thoughts with all those negative pictures. So, can you try to interrupt that pattern? Like Kayla said, visualizing, just having a positive visualization of the situation, even though you think it's bad. Have you tried to say, okay, I'm gonna do this no matter what it takes? When I do this, I'm free. When I do this, I can dance. When I do this, I can have good time for myself and all that. When you do this, I've tried it. It pushes me, it motivates me when I look at the mental picture, when I look at the good mental picture of that situation.
Mm.
But when I get stuck on the other side, on the negative part of the picture, always seeing the negative side of it drains my energy. You know, I don't have any motivation to move forward. I don't. So ask yourself this question: what kind of mental pictures do you have for every situation? Do you immediately see it as a bad one? Do you immediately, you don't need to type it, but that is a question you have to ask yourself. How do you use your mental, how does your mental picture serve you? Because whatever thing you think, like Tony said in this book, whatever thing you think, that you will surely feel. So when you think that this is going to end badly, then you will feel it. You will even fail before you get to the end, because you've already set up yourself for failure. So, Kayla, you have something before we
Mm.
round it up?
Yeah, I think the most common one, which most people have, is about their money story. Such a common, we talk to a lot of people every single day, and they're like, I can't afford it. That's their money is hard to come by. I'm struggling right now. We're in a worldwide pandemic. There's so much negativity and you're focusing on that. But if you just change that story around and repeat to yourself, money flows effortlessly towards me. I am so abundant. I'm so grateful for everything that's coming to me. Money grows on trees. When you say things like this, that's your analogy, that's your metaphor, then your reality will change because your frequency has changed, your energy. And as we know, all our energy attracts everything in our lives. So I think everyone today, if you just did that one change, you would start to see a big difference already.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, let me just tap into what you said, Kayla. Whatever we say, the Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, you know, and whatever thing that you wishes yourself mentally, it comes out outrightly. So why would you want to be thinking like a failure? Why would you want to be, why would you always have negative thoughts in your head? Confess positivity. You know, affirmation really, really works. You may be thinking, How is it gonna work? How is it just saying a word? Yes, you say a word. It's not that the word will change the things, but whatever thing that you say to yourself comes to you, because wherever your energy is, that is what comes to you. If you attract dark energies, that is definitely what's going to come to you. But if you say, okay, I am going to do this, I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am great, I'm a success story, unconsciously, you are attracting those things to yourself. Unconsciously, you are bringing those things, those good energies to yourself. The universe hears what you say, even though you think that it does not. Universe hears you. So at an early age, I always tell my kids, say something positive. Don't say you cannot, even though it's difficult. Okay, you cannot, but don't let it become your mantra. Always say you can. Then ask for help. Look for people to help you. But don't just come back and tell me I cannot do this. Change your mantra. Then another thing is, what kind of metaphor, Tony asked in the book as well, what kind of metaphor as a parent do you use for your kids? What kind of metaphors do you use for them, especially if they are too young, if they are still growing up, and each time you are filled with negativities, telling them, okay, life is difficult, life is a roller coaster, it's difficult to get a job, you have to do this, if not, life is gonna take a toll on you. They will grow with that. Consciously, you are preparing them that life is difficult. So in their mind, that thought is there. They'll grow up knowing that life is difficult. So even if there are things that normally should be easy for them, but because their parents have always set them up for this kind of words, naturally it happens that way to them, because that is the kind of metaphor you've been using for them, and they've grown with this metaphor. So imagine using this kind of metaphor at a younger age, and they are growing every day with this kind of metaphors. How do you imagine that their life will be like? Then visualize using the good metaphors. Life is great. Life is like is like a dance. Life is full of beautiful things. Life is full of colorful things. You can actually get what you want in life when you put your strength, when you put your energy in it.
Mm.
You
I'm so
can enjoy life as long as you want to. So this will motivate them to do the right things for them to do this. But when you've already set them up for failure, that is how it's gonna be. And then tomorrow you'll weep or you'll blame them for their failures. Kayla, I see that you wanted to say something. Sorry.
No, I was just like loving what you were saying, and I'm really glad that you touched upon it being
Okay.
a young age, because we are who we are today because of our past, and it's all conditioning. It's all our patterns that we've replicated, that we've seen from our parents and our
All right.
social status and everyone around us. And I'm 6 months pregnant, so even now I'm starting to, like, me and my husband are saying things like, you can be anything, like, life is yours, you are so loved. And just now, just getting it into him through, probably can't hear us, but but just that conditioning.
Actually, honestly, whatever thing you say, it comes. It comes to pass. So why engage yourself with negative metaphors that disempowers your life? Come on, empower yourself with positive metaphors. If not for your sake, for the sake of your kids, for those that have kids, if not for your sake, for the sake of your friends, for the sake of your family members, for the sake of that passion, that job you are doing, for the sake of the company that you've toiled so much for. Change your life metaphors. Start positive affirmations. It will really, really help you without you knowing it. without you doing much. You will see things happening. I'll say, oh, I don't know if you've been in a situation, you say, oh, I don't even know how this happened. It just happened. I can't even tell. I didn't do much, but it just happened because already you visualize it happening to you.
Mm.
And that is why at times it won't even take you much effort. You will see those things happening because you've yearned for this. You've wished for this to come to you. And the universe sees you, it watches you, it listens to you. And when it listens to you, yearning for something for so long, it will give it to you without stress.
Well, I think the key is you've believed in it. That's it. The moment that you've changed that metaphor, all of a sudden you've got this belief that it can now happen, and a belief can change anything.
Correct. So if you enjoy this, please subscribe to the sign up for the preview with Richard Than on the 18th and 22nd of this month. And that preview, he's going to tell you more about Unleash the Power Within, which is going to take place in October. On that preview, you can see how you can register and have a date with Tony. Like I said in the beginning, you don't need to pay for any flights. You don't need to pay for accommodation because Tony is coming to right
Your
into
home.
your room for 3.5 days. So you will hear him talk to you right in your room. What an amazing event. So please try and register in the link in the chat box. Make sure you sign up for this preview on the 18th and on the 22nd. If you are welcome to attend both sessions. You are so much welcome to attend both sessions. Do not forget to invite your friends and family to join you together in this, because the family that learns together succeeds and grow together. Do not learn alone. Do not grow alone. Do not succeed alone. Invite your friends, your family to join you because it's going to be much fun to grow together. So for now, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again. But my last word for you is change your metaphors. Make it positive. Make it more positive, more happy, more loving, and you'll see things working out the way you want. Kayla,
Absolutely.
what's your
Yeah.
last word
Really
for
enjoyed
them?
this. Yeah, I've loved today's chat. I hope people have taken some valuable insights away. And yeah, come along to Richard's preview for UPW, and hopefully we'll see you there in October. If you've not done this event before, I know I'm biased, but I truly love everything Tony does, and this event has changed my life so much. And yeah, I'd love for you guys to be a part of it too. So reach out if you have any more questions about it. Then feel free to contact us directly because we'd love to answer them for you.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we'll have another exciting episode on Monday. So you just hang in there and you will hear from us again Monday. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend and do not forget to stay safe and sound. Bye.